will search the entire world for answers, whether it be through books or self-help podcasts and videos, even like this one, all to learn at the end that the answers were always within you. So for the past year, I've been really trying to figure out, who am I? Besides my profession, besides the books, the movies that I like, what makes me me? And I've come to learn that most of my life, I've been told who I am, either by society or by the people in my life. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of us these days have been really out of touch with who we are. And we kind of just follow along with what everyone else is doing or do what we've been told. And we don't really stop and question ourselves to think, is this really me? That's when I learned about intuition. And I truly believe that this is the key that will help you make decisions in your life and allow you to live a life that's true to yourself. So let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, what is intuition? So intuition is this primal feeling that we all have, and we may not have any logic or reasoning as to why we feel this way, but to our core, we believe it to be true. And scientifically, it's pretty complex to understand. But what we have been realizing is how much our gut microbiome and how much our gut actually plays a role in this. And hence why people say, I have a gut feeling about something. There's a huge connection between our brain, between our heart, and between our gut as well. And even though it's very scientific and it's pretty much evidence-based, there's something magical about it. We all just have this built-in knowledge without understanding where it came from, and we just believe it to be true. Okay, so how do we get in touch with our intuition? It seems like a lot of us these days have lost ourselves. And here I go again talking about social media. But truly, taking a break from social media can be incredibly helpful in terms of regaining your sense of identity. And here's why. If I were to ask you, who are you? And you can't use things like what you do for work or where you live or where you're from. Those are all just like external things. Like, who are you to the core? And what we find is most of us can explain our identity through emotional experiences we've had in our life. A lot of the experiences that make me who I am have been emotional in nature. If you've had heartbreak, job loss, grief, or even like good experiences, those are moments that define you. So we know that emotional experiences make up our identity and make up who we are. The thing is, social media numbs our emotions. By numbing our emotions, social media is taking away our identity. On a day-to-day basis, a lot of us are very stressed, and then we scroll through social media for hours and hours so that we avoid feeling the pain, so that we avoid feeling the stress. In doing so, we're numbing our emotions. And when we numb our emotions, we don't really have a sense of identity. And instead, we kind of just do what we see and we just replicate that. So you truly lose your sense of identity when you use a lot of your time on social media. It's just really important to recognize this and be aware of this so that you can make changes in your life to at least minimize and reduce social media. Of course, like, use it for fun, use it for entertainment, but set limits on it, because you also need that time without numbing your emotions so that you can actually experience your emotions and feel them so that you can build a sense of identity. And so how do we do that? Learn to be alone with your thoughts. It doesn't have to be like a really long time. Like, you can even take 10-15 minutes out of your day, whether it be first thing in the morning, before you start your work, before you go to school, or just go on a walk. I've been really loving to do this. Going on a walk for 10 to 15 minutes, but don't bring your phone. Don't listen to a podcast. Don't listen to music, and just walk and listen to your thoughts and just hear what you have to say. And you'll start to realize how much of a sense of identity you get back. Like, you start hearing your voice again. It's truly where I get my most creative thoughts. And that explains, like, when we're in the shower, why we just have these like light bulb aha moments, because finally we don't have any distractions. We don't have anything to numb our thoughts. thoughts, and we can actually sit there with our thoughts. And it's incredible how much wisdom you have, how much knowledge you have. You just have to take the time to listen to it. The next thing you can do to be more aligned with your intuition is make a list of your values. It's so important to know what you want from life, to know what makes life fulfilling. And once you have that, you essentially have like a compass and you have a layout for how you want to live your life. So what makes life fulfilling to you? Is it a sense of freedom? Is it peace? Is it love? Is it adventure? What gets you excited? And write it down and then compare your values to what you're currently doing in your life. And the smaller the gap is between the values you have and who you are currently, the more happier, the more content you'll be in your life. So the aim should be to reduce that gap between who you are now and what your values are, so that you can finally just live a life that's more aligned with yourself. Align yourself with your values, not just how you act in front of other people, but also how you act when you're by yourself. You know, we often think that like, oh, when no one's watching, it doesn't matter. Someone is watching. You're watching. You're watching what you're doing and you're listening to your thoughts. So pay attention to even what you're thinking when you're alone. Make sure that those thoughts align with your values, because a lot of our thoughts is just honestly like repeated garbage and nonsense. And so it's important to also pay close attention with your thoughts and align them with your values. The next important step to take is separate your identity from what others have told you. So for example, growing up, I was always told I was the shy girl. Even up until now, up until recently, I've held on to that identity and I just assumed I was the shy girl. So in like social situations, when it came to public speaking, I would just like label myself as the shy girl, even though it's not necessarily true. And actually, I was just wanting to be accepted by other people. I just wanted to be seen and heard. So then I was afraid to be vulnerable with my thoughts. Once I realized that, something just like clicked in my head and I realized I'm not shy. I just had this belief growing up and I acted according to that identity. But in actuality, I'm like very extroverted. I love talking to people. I love putting myself out there. That's why I even created a YouTube channel in the first place. That's just an example of how what people put on you as labels is not true. And only you know who you are. This brings me to my next point. There will be certain people who enter your life who will claim they know who you are and who will put an identity on you that will bring you down or make you doubt yourself. I like to call these people your tests in life. They're tests to see how well do you trust yourself? How well do you believe in yourself and know yourself? Because quite honestly, nobody knows you. Nobody knows you but yourself. So if you allow other people to create your own sense of identity, it really messes with you and it makes you small and disempowered. And you realize you're just living according to what they think and not what you believe to be true about yourself. The thing is, people see you how they view the world. So if they have a very negative worldview, they're going to view you as a bad person and they're going to bring out the worst in you. So it's very, very important that you learn how to separate yourself from what other people think about you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who goes to sleep at night knowing who you are. You're the one who looks in the mirror and you know exactly who you are. People are going to set limitations on you because they don't think they can do the same things or they're intimidated by you. The next step to being more attuned with yourself is facing your fears. And that requires facing the fear of the unknown. And this is especially true with like certain job decisions we make, or moving to a different city. Yeah, it's gonna be really scary and there's gonna be a lot of unknown in those decisions, but you're gonna regret it way more when you're 80 years old and you're just like thinking to yourself, man, why did I not move to that city in my 20s? Why did I not, make a career change when I could have? You don't wanna have those regrets when you're older. You're never gonna grow if you don't face the fear of the unknown. Life is full of unknowns. There's no possible way you're gonna know the answer to everything. And the funny thing is, even when you live a very safe life where you're following all the steps and you're just doing as you're told, even then things can go wrong. So like, it really doesn't matter one way or another. Either you take that leap of courage and faith and you just follow your gut instinct and you follow your intuition, or you just live a really comfortable life where you don't take any risks. Face your fear of failure. The thing is, everyone's gonna make mistakes in life, right? Like, and I say mistakes because there's no such thing. Like, these are lessons that we're meant to learn. You are going to make a lot of decisions that may not have been the right choice. At least you can hold accountability because you can say, I made that trying to be as true to myself as possible. And now here are the lessons I can learn from this decision. And that's so much more empowering than making a decision based on what society tells you, what maybe your parents tell you. Have the courage to be disliked. Being authentic to yourself means that not everyone's necessarily going to agree with you or even like you. And that means you're doing it right. You know that saying, a friend to all is a friend to none? That is so true. When you're yourself, it could intimidate certain people because they're not being themselves and they wish they could do that. And so they want to bring you down. Or honestly, some people may just not vibe with you. They may not have similar thought processes. They may not agree with you on certain things. And that's okay. Not everyone's going to like you. And in fact, wouldn't you much rather know that the people who are still in your life when you're being your authentic self love you and appreciate you for who you are? That is so much more powerful and meaningful. Like those people who you can truly be yourself with, who still stick around even after you've shown them all sides of yourself, that is so much more meaningful than having like hundreds of friends around you who don't really know who you are and who you're just like a chameleon with, and you change yourself to like please others. The next step to being in touch with your intuition is to know that the answer is always love. Whenever you're faced with a difficult decision and you just don't know how to act, what do I say to this person? Always ask yourself, what would love do? When you act out of a place of love, you act as your highest self. Because once you unwrap all the layers of ego, you'll find that to the core, it's just all love. Now, this doesn't mean that you let people walk all over you and let people take advantage of you. You also act out of a place of love for yourself. You'll set boundaries for yourself. You'll respect yourself because you love yourself. I hope that helps. Like anytime you're faced with a difficult situation and you just don't know what to do, just ask yourself, how would acting out of love look like? And you will always be guided towards doing the right thing that way. This brings me to my last point. The answers were always within you. We often look to others to validate our experiences or give us the right answers, and we'll search the entire world for answers, whether it be through books or self-help podcasts and videos, even like this one, all to learn at the end that the answers were always within you. They were just hidden under layers of fear, of ego, of distraction. And once you tackle those, you'll find this like hidden pot of gold within yourself that has all the answers, all the roadmaps you need to live the most fulfilling and enriching life possible. And once you gain access to this deep intuition, you gain so much empowerment and like confidence because you now trust yourself and you make decisions that are in line with your morals and your values. So hopefully this video can help you gain access to your intuition because it was always there for you. You just have to be aware of it. We only get one life. It's so important to make sure we make it the best freaking life possible. So I hope this video helps, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.